right, let's do it, y'all. Ty Butler, we here. We here. We talking Knicks. Game 5, victory over Atlanta. I was in the building. I was in the building just now. Came back. I got the radio show after, so make sure you guys, after we finish this stream here, we hopping on the radio, ESPN New York. I'm going till 1 a.m. So make sure you guys tune in. But here on the Ty Butler Show, the YouTube version, Twitter version, hit me up in the comments, y'all. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we don't even have to go back that far. Just a couple of days ago, after the Knicks had blown that game 2, that I also had to leave early, I had people calling me up talking about fire Mike Brown. They then lost game 3, couldn't even get a shot off, and it felt like the sky was falling. 2-1, headed to a game 4, do or die situation. If the Knicks go down 3-1, it is highly unlikely that they were going to come back and win this series. But now they are in fully control. And look, I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta won game 6. You return home, desperate team, feeding off of its crowd, though there are a lot of Knicks fans in Atlanta. And that has to be frustrating. I would not be shocked if the Hawks won game 6, but what would shock me is if they were able to go into MSG and win game 7. I don't see that happening. I think the Knicks tonight proved what we had known all along. We just weren't exposed to it yet. And not just tonight, that's back-to-back games where they've, smacked around Atlanta. And that is that they are the better, deeper, more reliable team. And when they have Towns playing the way that he has the entire series, few teams can beat them in the NBA. And I thought that start for Cat kind of set the tone for the Knicks. And he's been the best player in the series. Now, look, Jalen goes for 39 tonight, his best game. 39, 8, and 3. And he was crazy efficient, 15 to 23 from the field. So kind of a reminder to folks, like, yeah, I'm still that dude. And I had tweeted out, I think it was like 4 minutes left in the first quarter. And I said, I know the Knicks are winning. And at that time, I think they were up 26-20. I said, I know the Knicks are winning, but Jalen's got the same amount of shot attempts as the rest of the team. Shout out James Baker 6128, my guy Ty. And I said, I don't know if that's ideal, that he's got the same number of shot attempts as the rest of the team, just because as much as we all love Brunson, he is an incredible basketball player. I just think that when they resort to the Jalen Brunson or bust offense, they just become easier to guard and they play into the other team's hands. And when they are, as they showed tonight, feeding other guys, getting them involved, like they're just too talented to be relying on one guy. Look, if it's late, crunch time, and you're feeding Brunson, I get it. But they're way too talented for him to dribble the ball for 23 seconds and then shoot it. But Towns, I think, has been the best player in this series, and he was awesome tonight. OG continues to be incredible, man. OG, another double-double, 17 and 10, block shot, couple steals, and he's done a tremendous job on Jalen Johnson, who did score 18 tonight, but the 18 points didn't feel all that impactful. The Knicks, as a unit, shut down CJ. Through the first 3 games in this series, CJ McCollum was the best player. He was 3 of 10 tonight, 6 points, only 10 shot attempts. They cut that faucet off. And Josh Hart deserves a lot of credit for that. You then had Mitchell Robinson do what he always does, and he's just gonna clog the paint, play tremendous defense. Alvarado came, and it's like scoring is just like icing on the cake. You don't expect him to come in the game and score, and he ends up hitting 2-3, scores 12 points. Clarkson instant off the bench. I know the Knicks scored 126 points tonight, and that should be like the lead. But I came away more impressed with their defense, man. Like that, the identity of this team is their offense. It is going to be what ends up deciding what their ceiling is. But their defense, I thought, was spectacular in this game, and they held Atlanta to under 100 points after holding them to under 100 points in the game 4 win. And I just felt like that was the most impressive part of watching this team. Benji R19 831 says, "What up, Ty? OG's playing out of his mind. OG's been fantastic. He has been unbelievable." And I talk about this every time he has a great game because I get reminded of it. Like when I'm doing my list of like worst contracts in the NBA, and it's like Joel Embiid, Paul George, Jakob Poeltl, Jordan Poole. I always like tend to throw OG Anunoby's name in there just because it's less about like who he is as a player because I think he's awesome. Um, but the fact that he's making $212 million as a role player and a guy who you just fear every time he goes to the ground is just going to get up limping and he's hurt and now he's out for an extended period of time. He's been just enormous in this series. OG has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. What's his playoff number? So OG so far in the postseason, let me just pull it up. And this is coming into tonight. He was averaging 20-9. And then tonight he gives you what did I say he gave you? 19-10. So he was averaging 20-9, and then tonight he gave you 17-10. So OG's been fantastic. He has been fantastic. James Baker 6128 says, "Yes, time. Finally, the Knicks showed a killer instinct and put Atlanta away." Yeah, it got a little dicey there in the third quarter, where it felt like the Hawks, like third quarter push out of the break, chance to like gain some momentum. But the Knicks just were like, "No, this is our game. We're the better team. We're gonna put you away," and that's now back-to-back blowouts, back-to-back games where you imposed your will and kind of snatched the soul from Atlanta, which is why, like, if I'm a Hawks fan, I've got real concerns about Game 6 because if they don't get out to a good start in Game 6, this thing's over. The Knicks are better, and my expectation is that the Knicks will go out there and put them out their misery in Game 6 because they will show that they have a killer instinct. They will show that we're not messing around. Also, if you're a Knicks fan, listen, you are not going to do this too many times, but you do have to give a shout out to Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. I was watching this game while I was at the Garden. They went into Boston in a do or die game 5 for them. And Joel Embiid scored 33 points in a victory for the Sixers. Maxey gave you 25, 10, and 5. Embiid and Maxey put it on Boston. It was a 3-point game with like 7 minutes left to go. And the Sixers, when I was expecting them to just like fall apart because Boston's better and they'll be able to get this thing done, Sixers came out and I was like, nah, man, we're going back to Philly. So now we have ourselves a series between the Sixers and the Celtics as that scene shifts to Philadelphia. So if you're a Knicks fan, shout out to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey for extending that series. So now you are set up to go as long as have that Celtics Sixers series go as long as yours is going right now. So they're not gonna, assuming both of these teams, the Knicks and the Celtics, get past their opponents, they're not going to have like the rest advantage. So, big up to Philadelphia. But on this game tonight, again, my biggest takeaway was how incredible their defense was. Yo, the Garden was lit, and we knew this. We knew it. That's the one thing you can bank on. That energy in that arena is going to be electrifying. Like those fans understand what time it is. They get it. And I, put out on Instagram and Twitter to promote the radio show that I've got coming up in about 20 minutes or so on ESPN New York. So make sure you guys download the ESPN New York app. Check me out. I'm going till 1 a.m. I want y'all to call me too, 800-919-3776. We're going to get these phone calls popping. I had put out in like the promo for the show, like a picture of the Garden floor. And I said, Knicks should win this game tonight. It's something along the lines of like, we shouldn't come back here until game 3 against Boston because the Knicks should take care of business tonight. And then what is that? Thursday night in Atlanta. And then the Celtics, after they dispatch the Sixers, will have games 1 and 2 at home. And so I think that's what we have. And also, the fans understand the gravity of this thing, the magnitude of this moment. This team, high expectations. High expectations. Just a couple of days ago, we're talking about firing the head coach. Yo, how about all of the Knicks fans that wanted to trade Karl Anthony Towns? Every single loss is on him. He's soft. He can't be the second best player on a championship team. There's a reason why Minnesota traded him away. And all that man has done this series is absolutely dominates. Now, the numbers say he only finished with 16 and 14. 7 shot attempts. But when you watch the game, that first half, he dominated. And once again, so he's coming off of a 10 assist performance in game 4. Had a playoff triple-double. His first career playoff triple-double. Only the 4th Knick ever to have a triple-double in the postseason. And then he gives you 6 assists tonight to go along with a couple of block shots. Cat's out here playing defense. See? When you feed, and it's always been like a saying, right? You feed your big man the ball, and he becomes much more engaged on defense. That dude's out here blocking shots. So he ends up 16, 14, and 6 with a couple of steals, a couple of blocks. And Towns, yes, as I said, has been the best player in this series. He has been. He has been. Absolutely. So the Knicks right now with a 3-2 series lead. We are now staring at an elimination game for the Hawks coming up on Thursday night. And look, if you are a championship contender, if you are who we think you are, you put this series away. You put this series away. Leave no doubt. That's been the motto, right? All day my mood has been, I'd be stunned if the Knicks lost this game tonight. That was my mood all night long, all day long. Thinking about tonight, like, yo, I'm going to the Garden. It's going to be fun. It's a game 5, 2-2 series. It's been fun between both of these teams, but I would be shocked if the Knicks lost this game tonight. And I was proven to be correct because once you get past like the halfway mark of the first quarter, at no point did you ever feel like they were going to lose this game. They were in complete control, as they were in game 4. So now we have back-to-back games where they have thoroughly outplayed Atlanta, and you go into a game 6. In this spot, the team that is down will come out with desperation. So it is on the Knicks to refrain from doing what we've seen them do in the past, and that's, operate with arrogance, We'll be fine. We'll be all right. Like the nonchalant, you can get caught with your pants down type of energy coming into a game that I don't think that they can afford. Come out in game 6 the way that you came out tonight, looking to make a statement, on a mission, understanding we are better than these guys because you're the better team. And if we're being honest, with all due respect to Atlanta, this series should be over. If not for that meltdown in game 2, this series would be over. This series would be over. But the Knicks do what they have done far too often, especially this group, and that is blow a big lead. And we saw that in game 2, and that's the reason why this series is going to a game 6. But despite all of that, excellent performance tonight. Jalen Brunson, what a show that was in that fourth quarter. I heard at my man Alan Hahn say, leave no doubt. And that's what Jalen Brunson did in that fourth quarter. No doubt. Like this, we're not messing around. Like this is not going to be a repeat of what we saw in game 2. You guys can go home early. It's all good. We've got this. And Jalen put his, punctuation on what was a dominating 29-point win for the New York Knicks. NB_516. So no, I'm not on the radio Thursday night. Pat O'Keefe, who does pre and post game for the Knicks, he's going to be on the air. But I will be back Saturday morning from 9 to noon. And then I'll be doing my Sunday show, the Ty Butler show, which you can hear every Sunday morning from 8 to noon. So I'll be doing radio 9 to noon on Saturday. I'll be on TV on SNY after the Met game. And that's going to be a late one, right? Because the Mets, I think, are on the West Coast. So that'll be a late one for us. Yeah, the Mets are playing the Angels. 9:38 start. So I'll be on radio Saturday morning, TV on SNY Saturday night, back on the radio Sunday morning. And yeah, make sure y'all tune in. Tap in with us. James Baker 6128 says also OG's playing both sides of the ball. Amazing. Yeah, we know OG can do that. Sometimes he loses his shot and then he becomes just like a dude on offense. But he looks spry, man. Like I get excited seeing him dunk the ball. He had one dunk tonight that I was just like, wow, like the athleticism on this dude, just because we expect him on defense to be elite. Offensively, though he's had this in his bag, we saw it, like we've seen it with the Knicks, we saw it in Toronto. It's just that we're looking at so many other guys to be main contributors. OG, there are times, and Simmons talked about this on his podcast maybe last week. I'm sure there are times where he's looking around and he's like, I should be the one scoring. He's like, why can't I be the secondary scorer on this team? And I'm sure he looks at that sometimes. But yeah, he's been incredible. He has been incredible. I think Cat's been the best player in the series. He's been incredible. Thanks, bro. Shout out to you, James Baker, 6128. Proud of you, man. Doing amazing work. I'm trying, bro. Grind is real out here. You know how we give it up. I was at the game. I hate having to leave the game early just because you want to experience like the end, the crescendo. But I got to get home for the radio show, and it gives me an opportunity to hop on here on Twitter and YouTube to talk to the people in them. John's got to give you NB_516 says John's got to give you the post game slot permanent on 880. I'm with it, man. Actually, let me text him. Let me send this as a screenshot. Like the people, this is what they are clamoring for. This is what the people are clamoring for. This is what the people want. The people want it. But yeah, we're here, man. So listen, I want to say statement win, but I do think that sometimes we go a little nuts with the whole statement victory. Like, what's a statement win in the playoffs? Aren't isn't every victory a statement win? Unless I guess you're down 3-0, like Houston won game 4, that's not a statement win. But assuming like in this scenario where you have two teams that through the first 4 games have been pretty evenly matched, what's the definition of a statement win? Every win feels like it's a statement. Like, all right, the Knicks are when the Knicks won game 1, in a series when a lot of people were talking about, oh, this could be competitive and go the distance. They won game 1. Felt like a statement win. The Hawks then stormed back and steal game 2. Felt like a statement win. They showed you, no, game 2 was not an aberration. We can do this thing. Won game 3, statement win. Knicks down 2-1 on the ropes. Can't go down 3-1 because 3 straight elimination games against this team. I don't know if that's the predicament you want to be in. They won. Statement win. Game 5 at home in front of your fans before you go back to Atlanta. You win by 29 points. So, like, you can say every win in this series has been statement win. And I had put in my notes as I'm watching the game. I said statement first quarter. And then I look at that and I say, but what does that actually mean? So Denver's down 3-1. They beat Minnesota at home in a game 5. It's a statement win, right? But if the Wolves come back and win game 6 with no Ant-Man and no DiVincenzo, isn't that also a state? So you can call any win in the playoffs a statement win. What I will say is this. If you are a legitimate contender, you smell blood. This is where you have to, set the tone and say, this is our series. So I'm curious to see how they come out in game 6. And I've talked about this plenty of times. One of my biggest issues with the Knicks, despite how successful they were during the regular season, was they at times were too laissez-faire and operated with such a level of arrogance that I don't think that was earned. Because the Knicks weren't like this championship team defending their trophy. There was a lot for them to prove with a first-year head coach, with elevated expectations that you were not familiar with. Many times this year, I felt like they came out and just decided, we'll be fine. And so I'm very curious to see how they look in game 6 to start. Because you can snatch this thing. You can take, and there'll be a lot of Knicks fans in the building, but you can take that team's heart early. Just rip it from them. And if they come out and it's like 13-4, Quinn Snyder calls a timeout first 3.5 minutes into the game, I just think it's a wrap. What I will say is I won't panic if they lose game 6. I can see Atlanta winning game 6. I won't panic because I can't see, and I know Indiana did it, what was it, 2 years ago. I can't see the Knicks losing a game 7 at MSG to this team. I just can't see it. I can't see it. I don't trust Atlanta in that spot. The Hawks just don't got enough going for them offensively. They've got a ton of issues, but there was a point in the game where you looked up and Dyson Daniels was leading them in scoring. They need a lot more from Dyson Daniels, but if he's their leading scorer at any point in the second half of a game, of a playoff game at that, that is bad news for the Hawks because it means they're not getting contributions elsewhere. Exhibit A, CJ McCollum goes 3 for 10 tonight. So Jalen Johnson had a bit of a bounce back game. I feel like his presence really hasn't been felt on offense in this series, which is why it was shocking that the Hawks, despite that, were able to get 2 wins. Kuminga has been off since game 3. He was awful in game 4, played better tonight. Um, Alexander Walker hit 4 threes tonight, but it still didn't feel because the game was so out of hand early. It didn't feel like any of that scoring was tremendously impactful. 523 JB. Why doesn't Winthrop have the you know what's to put you on every night? Listen, man, I would love for that to be the case. You got to hit him up, man. You got to hit him up. You gotta hit him up and ask him that question. Imma send it to him just so he can see. Just so he can see. But yo, make sure you guys lock in because we are gonna be on ESPN New York after the post game show in a couple minutes here. How do I hit up Winthrop to ask him? Um, if you're hitting me from Twitter, right? John Winthrop has a Twitter. Just type in at John Winthrop. Oh, you're hitting me from YouTube. Oh man, I see you hitting me from YouTube. That's a good question. I don't know. I sent him the picture of your comment though, so I appreciate the love. 523 JB. Benji R 19831 says statement when equals demarcation of direction, maybe a shift in momentum. Yeah, but we said that about the Hawks in after game 3. Did that, and that's the fun of the playoffs. Like there's a shift in the momentum at every turn because if Atlanta goes out and wins game 6, we're going to say the same thing. There's a shift in the momentum. I brought up Denver. They're down 3-1. They win game 5 at home. Jokic goes crazy last night. And now that feels like a shift in momentum because Minnesota's got 2 huge injuries and Denver's got the best player in the series. So all of them feel like shifts in momentum. The Sixers beating the Celtics in Boston felt like a shift in momentum. Orlando's up 3-1 on Detroit. So they win game 4, feels like a shift in momentum, but if the Magic come back and win or I'm sorry, if the Pistons come back and win game 5 at home, same thing. Cavs lose game 4 to Toronto. If they then go back home and win game 5, there's a shift in momentum. So I think we just say it because it sounds great, but what does it actually mean? Once you get to the playoffs and you're in the throes of competition, every win feels like a statement win, unless again you're down 3-0, and we know no team's coming back from that. Um, so we're getting ready for the show here on ESPN New York. I'm trying to go through some of the Twitter comments. Oh, so yeah, when I put out that uh the cat tweet earlier, I said Cat's been the best player in the series, and y'all were ready to trade him. And somebody, Al, what is this? JHICA says, "Don't worry. Once they lose the series, they'll go back to that. Give them a few days." It's funny if the Celtics go up 2-0 on the Knicks and Cat's had a bad 2 games, it'll be the same thing. So Cat can't get any. Cat doesn't get a long leash. Like he just has to be great every single night, and the Knicks have to win. Because if he's not great, then people just don't have a tolerance. They have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns, his production. That's just the reality. 2 minutes out. All right, I gotta go. I'm gonna hop on the radio. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show. This was fun. Shout out to all of you. Hit me up, Ty D Butler. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube page. I'm on TikTok as well. hopping on the radio, ESPN New York app. So make sure you download the app, or if you're on the radio, driving home or whatever the case may be, tune in there. I appreciate y'all. Holla at your boy.